What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Show Me What I've Been Missing. I am one of your hosts, Chris Mack, and I'm here with
your other host, Elizabeth Stanton.
Yes, and we are doing this bi-coastally because I am currently in New York right now. By the time you watch this, I'll probably be home. But doesn't matter. I just want you to know that I'm here right now, enjoying the beautiful city that is New York, and it's very prevalent because we are talking about Sex in the City.
It's like the show's a fifth character in the series. Or did I say the show? I meant the city is a fifth character in the show. Sorry.
It's fine.
You know what I meant.
You know, we know what you're trying to say.
Chris, tell the people how much the Sex of the City tour costs. I told when he was going, I was like, oh, you should take the tour. Tell them how much it costs.
It is $300 per person.
Don't do that. You could just fucking go those places yourself.
There's two tours. There's a walking tour, and then there's the bus tour. The bus tour is $281. I don't know how they came up with that number. That's a very strange
arbitrary number.
Yeah, it seems like they're like 281. Yeah, that's what people pay. And then there's a walking tour that's guided, and it's $113. Again, very weird number. I don't know why it's 113. I don't know, why it wasn't like 110 or 115. I don't know, but that's what it is. I'm assuming those numbers are weird like that because of tax, so it probably rounds up to
taxes,
a good even number.
And do they include stuff though? Like it's not just like. Do they give you like booze on the bus at least or something?
I didn't see anything like that saying that it wasn't anything was included. Yeah, as far as I can tell, it's just the tour, and then that's what you pay for. Yeah. Let me see. Hold on. I'm gonna scroll down. Oh, it's a long tour. Apparently, it's 3.5 hours.
Yeah, it's about $100 an hour then.
Okay. Yeah, which is still way too much.
Still expensive.
It's still expensive. Like I thought this shit was gonna be like 100 or something like that. I would have probably paid 100 for it, but you go all around, and apparently they take you to where Sarah Jessica Parker lives.
Oh, her
actual house,
not Carrie's house.
Not Carrie's. They take you to Carrie's house, but they also take you to Sarah Jessica Parker's house.
Oh, that must be awkward.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure she probably doesn't fucking live there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or
she probably shouldn't stay there for often.
Probably goes out the back door.
Yeah, she knows that shit is around. She ain't trying to deal with that shit. Yeah, so it's just, as far as I can see, it's just a tour. It's just a long tour. 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
I kind of
you get your monies
right. Yeah, like now that I'm seeing that, I'm still not gonna pay the $200 or the $300, but I can see that justifying it. 3.5 hour tour. That's basically your whole day.
Yeah, and I'm sure they provide information and the other thing.
Right. Yeah.
Still,
but yeah,
save your money. You can just watch the show.
Or
just go to New York on your own.
Right. Just go to New York, walk around Manhattan. That's where the show is based in. And you'll see everything that they probably saw. The only thing that you may not see is maybe certain restaurants that they ate in.
Some of them might not even exist anymore.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. But as far as the big landmarks, they're there.
Yeah. Empire State Building's still there.
Still there. Ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, whatever you saw in the opening credits, it's all still there. Well, actually, it's not still there. The World Trade Center isn't opening. They do eventually change the credits. But that's.
But
most everything's still there.
But the Freedom Tower is there, so you still get a little bit.
Sorry. Yeah, I swear I'm not trying to make a 9/11 joke.
No.
Oh shit! Her name in the opening credits, though, her name Sarah Jessica
pops up right by the
World Trade Center, and they do change it, of course, when 9/11 happened, or after 9/11 happened. I always thought it was weird, though. Well, I guess it kind of makes sense for the show, but there were other instances of movies around that time being we have to erase the World Trade Center. No, you don't. You can just leave it in the film if you happen to have filmed it beforehand. You don't have to pretend it didn't exist.
Right.
It's fucking weird to me, and disrespectful, frankly.
Yeah.
To pretend they never existed. It's very odd.
Hollywood likes to hide from the truth from time to time. I
guess, yeah. But anyway, on to this episode. Speaking of restaurants and whatnot.
We are on episode 3 of season 3, Attack of the 5'10" Woman.
Fuck you, Carrie.
By the way, Never attacked. I don't know why this episode is even
Never
called
attacked.
Never Attacked. If anything, she was more attacked by Carrie and Samantha.
Yeah.
And I give Samantha a pass because she was attacking as a friend.
As a
you
friend.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Also, by the way, Samantha came through with the hardcore friendship in this episode.
So
Killing
good.
it.
Oh,
solid in this episode.
Rock
okay,
solid
like,
friendship.
I mean,
also the 5'10" thing. All these little short girls are always like, "I want to be model tall. You're so tall. It's so great." I'm like, yeah, it is. But then you lose your little cute, I'm a teeny tiny girl factor, and you'd hate it because everyone likes your little teeny tiny. So get off my dick about being 5'10". I know we just talked about how height didn't matter in the last episode, and it doesn't, and it shouldn't.
It shouldn't, but it socially it does.
But it does, and I've never really been made fun of for being tall, but it's always been very noted upon. Like, gosh, you're tall. Oh, you're so tall. I was taller than like almost every girl in my classes and stuff in school.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like because guys get it too. If anytime you're a guy that's anything over like 6'1".
Yeah. Oh, you should play basketball.
Did you play basketball? Did you or do you?
Yeah.
Because my friend Dan here, he's like 6'4". Oh, sorry, 6'6", and he's like, people literally like strangers will just walk up to me like, "Are you a ball player?" It's like, that's so rude, low key. Like, maybe introduce yourself. Ask me my name or something. Like, what are you doing?
No, I people tried to get me to play basketball in like middle or elementary school or whatever, and I suck at it. I'm not good.
Yo, I mean, honestly.
So they're like, "Oh, how that height is wasted." I'm like, it's not. I can do other things.
But you know what's funny about that? Because I was actually talking to my friend Dan about that too. I was like, you know what? Honestly, there was a time where I did want to be like really tall, like a 6'4", like that. But it's like, I'm also like you, like I'm trash at basketball. Can you imagine being a black man that is like 6'4", that's trash at basketball? That'd be my nightmare. It would be a nightmare.
And everyone's just quietly like, okay,
yeah,
it's fine.
Oh man, can you imagine how disappointed my mom would be? She's like, "You are 6'4" and you can't, like, you're supposed to be buying me a house. What are you doing?"
My mom just makes me get things off of shelves for her.
That's it.
She's only 5'5".
That's funny.
But anywho, so we start off with.
I mean, who's the main? I feel like the main character of this story was insecurity.
Yes.
But within the female
this
diaspora.
Is kind of a bad one for feminism in some way.
Yeah. Because it's literally like women, like they were like basically because let's just fucking because we just like there's no real main story. We just like talk about it. So they start out at breakfast or brunch.
Yeah, and this did make me wonder if this is where like the brunch craze came from, because I feel like
it's possible.
I know so many people who are like, "Oh, I love brunch. Let's do brunch." And I remember like, but I also grew up like in the Midwest and shit, so I don't know if it was always. Yeah, like
honestly, I don't feel like I've ever even like I know brunch was a thing, but it didn't become like an event in my life as far as like something I would do on a somewhat regular basis until I moved to LA.
Yeah,
because in Texas, I mean, people go to brunch, but it ain't like a thing.
I'm thinking of like Easter brunch or like church brunch.
Right. That's usually what, especially in Texas, that's usually like the only brunching you do is like usually like an after church kind of thing. Yeah. Not the, right after morning service. So they're at brunch, and for some reason, I guess I wonder if this is actually real. They're reading the newspaper, and apparently they have wedding announcements in the newspaper.
The New York Times has wedding announcements.
This is a real thing. Okay, I thought this was like just for the show.
No, real thing.
I don't see the point of that. Why do we need to have that? It seems so pretentious and bullshit. Like, I understand when it was like back in the day and motherfuckers were like riding around in horse-drawn carriages and like there was no entertainment around, but we live in New York City. That should not be in the newspaper. Like, who gives a fuck about who got married?
It's a society page thing, It's like they're kind of very, very often, older money, as they make the joke like the guys with the Roman numerals, like so and so forth and everything.
Great
And so
place.
it's those kind of families that have it and still keep it up, or or like big in Natasha's case, they're kind of like famous within the city, like maybe like the rest of the country wouldn't necessarily know who they are, but within like the city social circles and the money and stuff, it's just a moneyed up, nonsense thing. I mean, you could like, I don't read wedding and nonsense, but I read like wedding horror stories on like Reddit and whatnot, for like the good old like Schadenfreude, like,
I mean, that should be news. I mean, that'll help people out, like discover, like, find red flags and shit like that. But just like the announcement, like, oh, so and so's married, like, who gives a fuck? But for some reason, they are reading this. Of course, I know, and the perfect person to be reading this is Charlotte, because of course she cares.
She wants
about
to be in them so bad.
Oh my gosh, she can't
so
wait.
bad she can taste it.
Oh, so bad. Oh, and she's definitely the kind of woman that would marry a Roman numeral guy.
100%.
Like, she's probably that's like right in her wheelhouse.
Like,
Samantha, oh, I can't wait.
Samantha's like, oh, they're bad at sex, and Charlotte clearly like does not care.
Yeah, don't care. He's fucking something the third, and he has a lot of money, and then that's what I need. Yeah. So they're reading that, and then they see that Big and Natasha are married.
Yeah. Oh, also before they get there, they lament that the oldest person on the page is 27.
And like they were like very upset by that. Like, she's married by 27 because they're all like in their early 30s. Yeah. But it's like,
this is again
but this is a different time, because at that time that was like the social thing. If you were like in your 30s and not married, you were a
hideous old crone who needed to be drop kicked off the island of Manhattan.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like,
away to your witch hut.
You're basically worthless if you weren't married by 30, which is insane.
We happily know now that's not fucking true.
Yeah, because we don't live in a world where motherfuckers trade farming animals to get married. Like, you don't have to get married at like fucking 17, 18 years old anymore. It's fine. You can live your life or never get married. It's fine. But yes, they are very, and honestly, and this is the thing too, it's like that's stuff like that, it's so mean to women, because that's like that kind of articles, that kind of social articles that you see in the newspaper, that's geared directly towards women and to give them a complex. And clearly it affected everybody at that table except for Samantha. Yeah, Samantha's like, who gives a fuck? Queen. She's the shit. Oh, by the way, last night I had this conversation with a bartender about who's the best girl. She 100% said Samantha. She 100%. She's like, she's the best friend. She's the one that like is down for anything, and she doesn't judge them, and she's always there for every single one of them, even when they're not there for her.
No, my one friend was we were just talking about it recently too, and she was like, I used to be kind of like, offended that people thought I was a Samantha. But now, with hindsight, she's clearly the best one. I'm like, yeah, she's clearly the best one.
He's the best one. I mean, the show as a whole is toxic as fuck, especially now looking at like where feminism has evolved to. But she's still the best one. I even think today, even if this show was made, her character would still survive it.
Yeah.
Just with a few twerks.
Just not the actual reboot they're filming.
Right. Oh! That's why when she was like, I'm getting the fuck up out of here. She's like, I ain't doing that shit to me. You ain't fucking up my character. I built that motherfucker, because she did build that Kim Cattrall built that character.
It's funny. Also, because this is the year 2000, but still we are right in the thick of like one of the worst media cycles for women like ever. A lot of people have been going back and looking at the 90s and this early 2000s. Like, I've just seen people make like TikToks about it, or YouTube videos, or articles, or all just sort of any thing kind of re-examining how we treated pop stars like Britney Spears. People pointed out like Bridget Jones' Diary, she weighs like 136 and is trying to lose like 20 pounds, and they treat her like she's some fat cow, and she's not even remotely and remember
heavy. that plays into this episode as well.
That plays into this episode as well. So this is so hard to be a teenage girl during this time too.
Oh man, it's crazy. It's so crazy. It's so wild. That's how they said those articles in those newspapers. It's like literally geared to like give women a complex, and like those things shouldn't exist. Like they should be banned from the newspaper. That's so ridiculous.
Things finally have shifted, and like there's still, and now I think it's, you know, and then we all learned that everything was being photoshopped finally to be like
impossible.
literally impossible.
Right. Yeah.
You know, they
Absolutely.
used to, you know, mascara ads were insane because, you know, you have these insane long lashes, and then people are like, it's not working, I don't understand. And then finally they were like, all right, we used false we glue on lashes in the, you know, the photograph, and then we digitized it even more. Like, oh my god, it's just hands down the worst time to be like a teenage girl. Holy shit. It's fucking awful.
Insane. So, but it's like, but that's what I'm saying. But that's why I feel like the main character of this this episode was like insecurity, like between like how women feel like about other women or things of that nature, like because, you know, we had Charlotte, who was felt like some type of way about her body. Ridiculous. Then you had Miranda, who was like being ridiculed by her fucking housekeeper, which I totally agree with Miranda, even though I don't fuck with her, but I understand that bitch was crossing lines. Huge lines. And then you had Carrie, who was just like, I guess saw Natasha as an enemy for no reason.
So I wanted to get into that because I made this note. Carrie and Charlotte go back to Carrie's place and, you know, crack open a martini. Make a martini.
Right.
And they read through the article about the wedding and everything. And they're making fun of Natasha, or Carrie's more making fun of Natasha. And then when it's revealed the bride walked down the aisle to When a Man Loves a Woman, she's like, I also say, "Buh."
That's tacky. It is. When she said tacky, I was like, 100%.
Charlotte was right.
Yeah.
But
bad tacky.
But Carrie's like, oh, that's the one thing in the wedding that felt like big, and all the descriptions. She was like, Natasha's controlling everything, and so then she gets, you know, starts to cry a little and crumple up the article. Yeah. So. And she's saying it's like a whole thing comparing herself, and like, again, sorry, none of this is Natasha's fault. She did nothing to you. She did not steal your man. You were
y'all were well broken up.
He was in Paris,
absolutely,
and because he wouldn't do what you wanted to do, and you guys were never on the same page. And I think Carrie knows that deep down.
Yes.
As we kind of learn in this episode.
Well, she even said it too, because Charlotte says he wasn't the one for you. You weren't right for each other. She's like, I know, but like, I still understand that making you feel some type of way, because like literally,
for sure,
she was like, I want to, like, because she wanted to marry him basically.
Yeah.
And then he didn't want that, and then literally the next girl he's married,
which is very common. It's so weird,
I know, but like I understand that feel, because like I you know, I've had exes that like the next guy they dated right after me like got married, and I don't want to get married, but like I can understand that making you feel some type of way. Just feeling like it kind of puts in your mind, it's like, what was wrong with me? Especially in Carrie's case, it's like,
and it's much easier to make someone you don't really know the enemy than it is to accept that the person you did know was a jerk in Big's case, or even your own like insecurities or problems within the relationship. It's much easier to focus all of that on Natasha than it is to kind of be self-reflective. And that's not great, but it is normal. People do that. That's not like an absurd thing for her to do.
No, not at all. I mean, I totally get it. It's not right, but I get why she feels some type of way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So let's see, where'd my note go?
Go for it.
I think it comes later, because she's starting to write, you know, her little thing. Oh, and she says I think I'm jumping ahead slightly. Oh yes, I am. Okay. But so after that, she and Miranda are shopping, and they bump into Natasha at the dressing room, and Carrie walks out, panics, and she's in her underwear, holding the dress up.
Not matching too either, which is probably the worst thing to be seen in when the girl that you're like,
I don't have matching bras.
No, I know, but I'm saying like when you're running into somebody,
you want to look,
you're trying to like impress or like you know, prove that you're better than or whatever.
Right.
That's not the way to look at it, because she had the wild ornate panties on. Like, they were so colorful. And she had like the black bra and then like very ornate panties. I don't know how that happened, but that was probably the worst way to be seen by somebody you're low-key intimidated by.
Yeah. And then like Natasha says like, oh, I'm organizing this women's luncheon, that's why I'm shopping. And Carrie's like,
Yeah.
oh, I go to that thing, I'm a member. Of course she like doesn't do actually
She's a
do
member,
any.
but she hasn't gone to any of
Yes.
the parties.
Yeah. And they say, oh, we'll see each other there. And this is where we get to Samantha being the best friend. I love it. Well, I love Carrie's joke where she's like, I'm in a deficit. I have to meet her, you know, when I'm not half naked or wearing a fucking cowboy hat. It looks like Annie, get your clothes on. That's my favorite joke of the episode.
That was so good.
So
also,
funny.
yeah, she definitely, those are the two
I mean,
moments that they've had.
Yeah.
Not great for her.
Yeah, I would definitely want to be like, I gotta meet this woman the third time and at least prove I know how to dress like an adult.
Yeah, like I actually clean up quite nicely.
That I'm not like a fucking Looney Tune.
Yeah.
But Samantha rightfully points out, she's like, it's a lot of trouble to go to impress a woman, because she's trying to get Samantha to help her figure out how to get to the luncheon thing.
Yeah.
But she agrees to help Carrie and go and accompanying her
and to go
because, as she says, these bitches need to be put in their places. Samantha is the best goddamn friend on this earth. I don't want to ever hear anyone talk shit about her ever again.
Again, the whole situation is toxic, and she knows it ain't right.
Yeah.
But you go with your friend is doing it.
That's your girl.
Yeah. Like I say, like, look, and Samantha, like, no judgment. She knows what she's doing ain't right. She knows that Carrie knows that what she's doing is a little bit immature. But fuck it, you're my friend. You need some support. I ride or die. I love that shit.
And then Carrie, this is where Carrie ponders why she feels like such a charity case around Natasha, and if it's just that she has big, or if it's bigger than that. And then she asks, are there women in New York who are just there to make us feel bad about ourselves? And I wrote down, what the fuck?
Well, maybe if there's the ones that are writing these fucking articles about goddamn weddings, if those are women writing them shits, then yes, there are women in New York who are just there to make you feel bad.
Yeah, this is all that BS female competition that has been foisted on us that we're like finally slowly moving away from.
Mm-hmm. It exists though. It's just not as maybe
it still exists.
Yeah, maybe this time it's more prevalent. It probably was. Really,
well, it was more prevalent and encouraged, and for a long time it was, it was so like lauded to be like, oh, you're the only like. I was in high school, I was the only girl on the quiz bowl team, and it was like, oh, what a cool, fun thing. But then in hindsight, it's like, that's not great. Not that those guys are bad or anything like that. They're just high school boys, whatever. But it would have been cool to have a gal pal on the team and another girl just representing and showing off the smarts. Like, but for the longest time, that was like being one of the boys was cool. And excluding all other girls. There's this whole thing where people are kind of examining the pick me energy of like, like I've mentioned before, kind of girls wanting to control the male resources.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's not quite what this is, but it's along those lines. But it's just the sort of like, even now, like it's there's like all the mommy competition with like, who's the best mom. I just started the new season of You on Netflix.
Okay. I haven't got into that show yet, but
it's good, and this is not a spoiler, but the woman, the one character, she is a literal psycho who kills people, but she also is feeling all this mom shame because she's a new mom from this little clique, and it's all these power things that are so stupid and pointless, and it's like it's not what's keeping us down exactly, but we gotta disband it and
gotta fix it,
band together,
for sure.
but this was definitely like at the time where if you were it's still common and it's not unusual to think, oh, I'm not living up to such and such standards set by like a Natasha type or whatever, and you can definitely be like, oh, I wish I was kind of doing X, Y, or Z, but what you shouldn't do is think you're a failure because you're not doing that. Partially because you don't know everybody's story, so like or you read all these success stories and magazines and articles where they're like, oh, I made my first million, What often is left out is a lot of those people have family money that can do all these kinds of things, or
even a lot of stuff that's left out is like how the struggle to get to that first million, you know what I mean?
It's you really don't know what's going on with other people, so you don't need to compare yourself
absolutely
drastically.
And
I know Carrie kind of gets over it at at the end in a way, but it is
But
just frustrating that she even asked that question.
the thing is, though, also the way she gets over is a little bit petty. But I laughed at that myself.
I laughed at it too.
I was like, how you fuck that up, fam? Like,
yeah,
you come from wealth and money, and you don't know the difference between THEIR and THERE.
We'll go back to the other girls, so let's just stay on this train with Carrie. So I like that Carrie and Charlotte meet for like coffee or whatever, and we'll get to Charlotte's part of that conversation later. But meanwhile, Carrie has bought new heels to try to impress Natasha. And Charlotte calls her out, and Carrie says it's not all women that I'm in competition with, it's just Natasha once this is over. But it is, you know, there'll always be a new Natasha, you know,
of course, if
you're not careful. And Charlotte tries to, you know, convince her she doesn't need to prove anything, gives her all these compliments. And Carrie says, why can't Charlotte say that about herself? Again, we'll get into why Charlotte feels this way. But I'll tell you why. Because we've been told our whole lives we can't be vain and confident. We always have to be humble as women and self-deprecating. If you're too confident, like a Samantha, you're torn down at every fucking turn. People don't like it when you're a confident, powerful woman. So you have to, like, be self-deprecating and be like, oh, and shrink yourself. And everything, and it's stupid.
No, 100%. Yes, it's crazy. No one should have to shrink themselves unless you're just like being an asshole about, you know, you can have confidence and not be an asshole.
Exactly.
There's some people who have confidence and then are an asshole with it. That's the way you should be. But whatever.
But then they get. Oh,
go ahead. No, you go.
But then they get to the lunch, and Carrie and Samantha both look fantastic.
Yes.
And Carrie checks in and learns Natasha isn't going to be there because she has a cold. All that stress for nothing, which I've definitely done about stupid, like.
But the crazy thing is first of all, when Carrie finds out that Natasha's not coming, she's like very disappointed and very upset. And I totally get that, because like she's in there ready to show her what's up. Like not to fight her or something like that, but it's like let her know that, look, I ain't no fucking slob. Like, you got the man, but he had me first. You know what I mean?
Right. Like, look what he left behind.
Right. And you don't get to do that. I totally understand that, because, like, you know, we all have our revenge plots in our head when we want to confront somebody. And when that revenge plot doesn't, when the plan doesn't go as you envisioned it, it's very disappointing. Which I would totally be.
You don't get the catharsis. Yeah.
Yes.
It sucks.
Yes.
It sucks.
Yeah. So I understand why she was getting fucked up at this party, because she was sloppy drunk.
Because Samantha's like, we are staying and we are getting drunk. You know, I paid for these tickets.
$85. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I'm staying
for a luncheon.
For a fancy luncheon. So I also like that Carrie's sitting at the table drinking, and some lady's like, do you want to teach a class to teenagers? She's like, I write about blowjobs. I'm not doing that. But then this is
that was so great.
Then Samantha comes in with a total best friend moment, and brings this kind of goofy girl over, and she's like, tell her what you told me about Natasha. And the girl's like, Natasha hooked up with a guy in the shower at college. And she goes, and Carrie's like, okay.
Right.
And that she gained 10 pounds sophomore year. And Samantha thought that would make Carrie feel good. And of course,
which again, it didn't. But again, Samantha
knew it might help.
She's like, hey, this could make her feel a little better.
Yeah. Sometimes you get like a gossip drop from someone about someone you don't particularly care for, and then you're like, delicious.
Yeah.
And you know it's bad. Who fucking cares? We all do it.
Yeah. But and that's,
no
and,
saints
and that's what I'm saying. That's why Samantha is still a good friend, because like, yes, it was petty, but also it could have made her feel better, because she was, I mean, she's very intimidated by this woman. She's very intimidated by how tall she is, with the status that she has in society, who she's now with, you know, even though she doesn't want to be with him, but just that image of them together is messing with her self-esteem a little bit. So, you know, that little piece of knowledge, but also 10 pounds is not enough.
No,
I don't think that's enough. If she just said like
I'm gonna say
30 pounds, now that might have made her feel a little bit better.
I'm gonna say it too, especially on someone who is that tall. It's really it's hard to.
You can't tell. You can't tell. No, when you're like, you can still have like, when you're a woman of like 5 foot whatever, like it's so, or 5'10" or higher, like it's hard to tell, like 10 pounds. hit or miss. You can't tell either way.
Yeah.
You know,
and that's why it's always unfair to shorter women when they do happen to gain a little bit of weight. People are like, "Oh my god, they blew up." No, it just looks different because it's not a shorter. Right. It's the same amount. If Natasha and Carrie both gained 10 pounds, it would just look different because they're different body types. Right. And that's exactly finally what we're starting to take into account. Yes. Nowadays. Absolutely. You know, I was just reading a bunch of stuff where people like, and I'll use this to launch into Charlotte. But people were like, kept saying like, oh, we all got it in our heads that weighing 120 pounds was like the ideal weight for a woman.
Not if you're 5'10".
Not if you're 5'10".
Hell no, dude.
And I have to give credit. Like I went to a gym with my friend. Was maybe going to sign up for their training. I just couldn't afford it at the time. But they did like a little, evaluation with me. Yeah. And I was also doing Weight Watchers at the time. And according to the BMI, which by the way, we all know now is bullshit. It's fucking trash. It's so stupid. Don't go by the goddamn BMI for anything. But with my height, the weight I needed, according to the Weight Watchers BMI thing and all that, I needed to be at like 165. And that's kind of what I told the guy my goal weight was at the time. And he was like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah, you can do that, but you will look very ill. He's like, you will look skinnier than you think you need to be. Right. He's like, you could do like 170, 175. You could be 175 and be just fine with your height and your build. Because that's the other thing is people don't take build into account. Like, yeah, I'm overweight, whatever. But if you poke on certain parts of my body, there's bone there. That's not just fat. Right. Exactly. And so your hips are your hips, if you poke and touch your sides and you feel bone, that's where your hips are. That's not you being fat or too big. Yeah, you can't, unless you're gonna go somewhere and get them like shaved down or some shit. Which like that. Which you can't do. Yeah, I don't think. Insane. It's insane. So we all, again, in this time period, we all got like that nutty number. And again, like I said, obviously, as we mentioned, it doesn't take anything into account, but Charlotte and the girls all go to a spa and they go in the steam room and Charlotte won't take her towel off, not just because she's modest, but because she feels really bad about her body. She thinks her thighs are too big. Yeah. Which is like, it came out of nowhere because like the look that she said she got from the woman in the steam room wasn't a look of like gross. It was a look of like, I want that. Yeah. She was like trying to hit that low key. It was like, ooh, look at that really attractive woman because Charlotte is very gorgeous. Like when Carrie tells her she has a great figure, she has a great figure. I don't know what I think most people would look at that and be like, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, no one's gonna turn you away. So Charlotte leaves the steam room. Now, I will say, I don't like being in steam rooms for a couple of reasons. I'm gonna say something too, and go ahead. I was gonna say like, of course, Charlotte would be uncomfortable being naked in a room full of women. That's 100%. However, I'm not gonna hate on her for that because I don't like walking around like the men's locker room with dudes who just be naked. Like put a towel on, bro. Like we don't want to see your balls. Like I get it, we all got them, but I don't need to see yours. Like, and it's always the ones that like walk around naked that want to like get dressed naked, rather, and then like you're bending over to tie your shoes and they're bending over, so you got balls and tape in your face. You're like, dude, like that's fine. Like, and also too, you don't need to be naked in the steam room, bro. Put some fucking shorts on or a goddamn towel. Like one, like the only time you need to be naked is if you're changing your clothes and or showering. That's it. Yeah. Put your fucking clothes on when you're around the goddamn locker room and the steam room. So I'm not gonna hate on Charlotte for that. Yeah, I don't like steam rooms partially because of that. It's funny, I went to a spa place before my brother and sister-in-law's wedding with like the girls for like a bachelorette type thing. And it was like a clothing optional spa in certain parts, and I was not fully prepared for that. And no one told me that ahead of time. Yeah. And so I even went in the steam room for a hot sec with my like swimsuit on. And someone was still mad though that I wasn't sitting on a towel. It was a sauna actually, but so I just kind of bailed. I don't like saunas because I don't like being that hot and humidity. It kind of chokes me up, and I don't like. Yeah, you can't breathe in there. Yeah, like, I don't know why people do that.
I mean, I get why you do it, exfoliation and
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that,
Oh, I get all the reasons and benefits for it. I can't stand it.
yeah,
It's not my
I'm not
thing.
I can be in a sauna or a steam room for all of about 5 minutes, and I'm like, all right, I'm good. That's
I
enough
can
for
be
me.
there for like 2 and I want to die.
I
So
feel
yeah,
that.
I body issues aside, I would have just gone in for that reason.
Yeah.
And I do like that they're speaking of Charlotte not wanting to be around nude people. She's like, I feel, I didn't grow up in a naked household, but some people do. Like some people grow up in households where like, clothing's a little loose, or like maybe dads don't wear shirts all the time or whatever. Right. Definitely not my house.
Mine either.
Everyone in my family except me does this bizarro thing where if they take a shower, I don't know, they don't bring whatever like robe or pajamas or whatever they're going to change into. So we only had one bathroom in the house growing up. And so basically and it was a small house, so you'd be sitting in the living room and someone would inevitably poke their head out the door and yell, "Don't look," and then go run off to the room they needed to go to with like just the towel. Yeah. And I'm like, what fucking weird. I was like the only one who was like, it would finish toweling off. Although I think my dad did too, so maybe it was just my mom and brother and like that weird like DNA. And then I got the DNA that was like, no, I'll finish my business in the bathroom, thank you very much.
I have to confess, I'm one of those people, like sometimes like right before I'm showering, like if I'm already naked and I forget to grab something I need for post showering, I'll go out and do it. It's be like, hey, hope none of my roommates see me. They haven't yet, but I know it's gonna happen one day. I'm gonna come out and this is gonna be cock and balls, and I'm like, sorry, this is your life now. You saw my piece. But she eventually gets over it. She does. Well, yes. So then that's when we go back to the brunch.
That's where we go to the shoot, Carrie bought all the stuff. But before they get into that, Carrie's like, oh, can I get, such and such cake? And Charlotte's like, I'll just have a fruit cup. And Carrie says what a lot of women say, which is, oh, you're making me feel bad now about what I'm eating, which sucks. That's another big thing that was so common, was like, I don't want to eat more than like everybody else. I'll look fat, I'll look bad. Just eat what you want, people. Just eat what you want. Who fucking cares? Life's too short.
That's still
matter.
A thing, low key.
It's still a thing.
Yeah, especially in LA, for sure. I don't know about anywhere else, but I definitely hear that sometimes at lunch in LA. Like, oh my God, you're eating the salad? Well, fuck, I gotta get a salad too. I can't eat a burger. It's like, yeah, you can. If you want a burger, eat a fucking burger.
I don't care. I don't hate salads, but I don't care for them that much either. And if I'm at a nice restaurant, I kind of want to go for something a little like more substantial, I can make a salad at home. I've made salads at home.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And then that's where they get into like Charlotte, is still insecure about how she looks. I know my cat just ran by. You zipped by.
You literally zipped by. That was so funny.
And and they get into that discussion, and that's where Charlotte gives Carrie all the compliments to go face Natasha, and Carrie says,
amazing compliments, by the way.
Yeah, why can't you say that about yourself? And it's like I said earlier, we're it's just
told not to. Like you said,
told not to.
Yeah, told not to.
Like there's a scene in Mean Girls that always stands out to me about this kind of thing where when she's first with the plastics girls and they're all looking in the mirror and going like, oh, my nose bridge is too wide, my pores are bad, my this or that. And she says, because she didn't grow up in mainstream media, she's like, I just thought there was skinny and fat. I didn't know there could be so many things wrong with your body. And that's so true. I even, I liked teen magazines and stuff, like 17 when I was a kid and stuff like that. And it definitely, there was lots of like, flatter your shape or how to correct this, and it was always couched very positively, but it's still telling you there's something wrong with you and you need to no it's just bad. It's just and it's so 100%. Bad. They've proven time and time again it's bad for teen girls' psyches, and they've proven like Instagram now is fucking terrible for teenage girls. Talk about unrealistic standards, not just of physical stuff, but of lifestyle and all this and the other thing. It's one of the worst things, Absolutely. Everyone wonders why I don't fuck with Instagram that hard. I'm like, one, I'm not a bad photographer, but I'm not like a good person photographer.
Yeah, but also
I'm also
It's
more
trash.
verbal.
It's
I've always been more verbal.
Also, Instagram is trash.
Yeah. But then Charlotte faces her fears. Did it
Yes.
for her. Goes back to the steam room, sits down, drops towel, and
Well, not all the way, just the top.
Just the top.
Well,
she's like sitting
she's,
on
she's going, little baby steps, but she still is an accomplishment because she came in there she actually walked through the whole locker room with it
skitters
down
through the whole locker room. Yeah, I thought that was
all cute shit.
The little music and everything.
Oh yeah, the music was so fucking funny. It was so goofy.
Yeah.
I loved it.
But then she does it, and then a woman looks at her and goes, "I would kill for your tits." And Charlotte's like, "Fuck yeah. All right, we're back."
Also, but rude. She didn't say thank you. That was a great compliment. She did not say thank you. She just smiled.
Just smiled.
Rude. Rude. Made note of that. I was like, you could have said thank you. I mean, so that's a pretty good compliment.
So, what do you call it?
Yeah, that's right.
And as long as we're at the steam room spa, we'll just touch on Samantha real quick. She was, as always, did not have much plot, but was there with the sisterhood support left and right. But meanwhile, overheard some woman say that one of the masseuses went down on her during the massage, and Samantha's like, "I immediately need this massage."
I mean, that was crazy to me because it's like. I was thinking about that. I like as a guy, like would I even be okay with that? A masseuse like
what's it called? A happy ending? Her
right? Yeah. Because I respect it. It was kind of cool to see that on the reverse side because usually it's like creepy guys that go to like the fucking like Asian parlors or whatever trying to get a happy ending and shit like that. But to see like a full group of women, by the way, it was involved that we learn later. Wait, has to hurt Samantha's ego a little bit because he wasn't down for her.
Yeah.
But he had several clients that he was clearly doing things with.
Yeah. Also, I will say, I think Samantha rushed it because it sounded like that other woman had some kind of established massage relationship.
Right.
Massagey relationship. That's one of those is a word. The other one's not. I'll let you.
It makes sense to me. I'm going with it. I say continue.
Because I think she just came out of the gate a little too hot on that one. Because he's doing the massage. He's going up her leg and then skips over
to her
hoo-ha. Yeah. And he starts on the rest of her body and he's asking the whole time, "Is this okay?" Which I'm assuming I have never had a massage actually, but I'm assuming
they do ask. That's a normal thing.
They check in with you.
When they get closer to your sensitive areas, they ask, "Is this okay?" Yeah,
and that makes a million times sense.
But you have to, especially nowadays. You definitely have to.
And to Samantha's credit, she puts her hand on his dick and goes, "Is this okay?" And then the next shot is her getting like banned from the spa.
Chastised by the fucking owner herself. He's like, "This place is for civilized people."
Yeah.
And I can't.
But then she rats him out and says like, "Well, look, I signed up for this because I heard he goes down on women." And then he's like, "Oh, fuck." I
mean, low-key, I was very okay with her calling him out because like he was sitting there acting like he was like the big victim, knowing
big innocent baby,
that you got at least 4 women that you're fucking and 2 that you're going down on. I was like, stop it. Don't act like you were just attacked. It's also too, she did ask, "Is this okay?"
Yeah. Because then the punchline is at the luncheon. She sees the woman who first told her about the masseuse, and then she goes, "Oh, look, it's the woman who got Kevin fired." And it's like 3 other women, and they're like, "Yeah, it was great when he'd go down on me," and one woman goes like, "Yeah, he was fucking me," and the other 3 are like, "Wait, what?" So Kevin is he
was out here being a hoe.
He's a freak.
He wasn't living up to the standards of that spa. I can tell you that.
Not very professional.
Not at all.
So that's Samantha's storyline.
Quick, painless. She's involved in just about everybody's story except for Miranda's.
Yeah. The good news is, by the way, she will get like more substantial plot lines as things go on.
Yeah.
But she's very often the supporting.
But she's
such a great support character.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's the character you need for there because honestly she kind of brought all these women to him, you know what I mean? So it works,
tying everything together.
And
then we get on to the plotline of Miranda.
Miranda, she gets a housekeeper, which
Yeah.
I'm surprised because she's like so anal. It's like, why would you get a housekeeper? Because you know you're gonna like hate everything that they do, which she does.
Well, she
because
does. I think
the lady reorganizes things, and she's like, "Fuck that."
Yeah.
Oh,
well, I
this?
mean, but she's the Magda. Magda becomes a recurring character, by the way. I love.
Oh,
Magda.
awesome!
Yeah,
awesome.
Magda's
Yeah.
great. We don't see a ton of her, but she's around.
She's around.
What do you call it? But I do get why Miranda got a housekeeper, because she makes a lot of money and is very, very busy all the time.
That's true. Yeah.
And so, like, yeah, I'd 100% hire someone.
Yeah.
To clean my shit if I could.
Yeah. I get that. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And they're not, and professional housekeepers do not or should not, as far as I know, reorganize your stuff unless you want them to.
Right. Yeah. That's what she did, cross boundaries immediately, like reorganizing her stuff and then like passing judgment. She's like, "Oh, you shouldn't drink coffee. You should drink tea. It's better for you."
Yeah.
Oh, I bought you a pie roller so you can make pies. A woman should make pies. Excuse you. You don't fucking know me.
Yeah.
And that's for life advice. When did you become my therapist? You were my cleaning lady. Clean my shit and then get the fuck out.
And then, but then we get to the goody drawer.
Question: do you have a goody drawer?
I don't have a drawer. I have a bag.
A bag.
It's under the sink. The
nice. Wait, whoa! That seems so. Like, why do you put it in the sink?
It's because it's all hidden away.
Oh, okay. Right on.
Because also, this is a very funny true story that we've never discussed within the family. But when my brother was at my old apartment, and before I had the cat, we were talking about like where I could put like a litter box, and he opened the other cupboard under the sink at the old apartment, and that's where I had stuff kind of stashed out in the open, not hidden in a bag. And this was like exactly what happened. He was like, "Oh yeah, you could." He's like, "Well, oh, this is under your sink." He's like, "Well, you could maybe put the cat litter here." And he just quietly closed it. He's like, "Or in the closet or whatever." So my poor brother saw my stash. It's not even a big stash. It's like 2 things.
So basically, you were Miranda.
Oh yeah, and then a couple minutes later, he went. He's a smoker, so he went outside to smoke. And I noticed he got like dead quiet for like a split second, and then I was like, "Mom, I think Jeff found my stuff," and she was like, "Yeah, he's married. It's his guy. He's had girlfriends. It's fine." Yeah, and I was like, "I know, but it's my brother."
Yeah, it's still weird. Yeah, it's still weird, but also. Yeah. Also, but, grow up, my man. You're an adult.
No, well, yes, he's he's a full grown
that's what I'm saying. Like,
man, but it's his baby sister.
I understand. That's what I'm saying. It's weird, but also you got to grow up, my man. Like that's.
I'm sure it was just sort of
sister's
like
a woman.
Yep. I kind of forgot. Well, I always laugh at this story. This is a very clean story, but his neighborhood friend from down the street, like. They caught up after a while, and he was like, "Well, how old's your sister now? Like 17?" My brother's like, "Dude, she's like 27," because it was just like, as far as that guy remembered me, I was still like a kid, even though it had been like so long. You just 13? Think of people like get locked in your head in certain ways.
14 years, sir.
Yes, sir.
People don't just stop where you remember them. They keep aging. Growing. Yeah. Right. I wish somebody remember me to be like fucking 21 forever. Then I'll be 20. With a full head of hair. Anyway, also too, by the way, Miranda's goodie drawer.
Yeah.
Very tame. It was
so
really
tame.
Condoms and a vibrator.
Yeah. Like
super tame.
Basic. I like that, Samantha.
Literally the basics, yeah.
I have a
clearly she gets sex when she wants sex, and clearly when she's not getting sex, she masturbates. That's really that the drawer says. It's like when I'm having sex, condoms. When I don't have sex, vibrators.
Yeah. Standard, totally normal.
That feels like that's like what comes in the like the first that's like the welcoming package.
The starter kit.
Like, the starter kit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, it wasn't that diverse. But I also too, it makes sense. She's a woman on the go. She ain't got time for no bells and whistles. Like
you need efficiency. Yes. If you want to have a good time, you need something that speeds up quickly. Yeah, it's already charged, ready to go. Bada bing, bada boom, you're there. Like I said, Samantha has a goodie closet, which was funny.
That scares me a little bit.
She rattled off like all sorts of stuff, and Charlotte, of course, says she doesn't have one. I think we all know you're lying, Charlotte, because you're the biggest.
She has one.
You're the biggest freak.
She has one. 100%.
Yeah.
Hers is probably nastier than all the girls.
Yeah, like she probably has of the
Fucking
4.
yeah.
Maybe not Samantha, but of the 3 of those other 3,
Yeah.
she probably has the biggest dildo of the bunch.
I bet you.
Like
I bet you
like
she does.
remember, she got addicted to the rabbit vibrator in the earlier
Yeah.
season.
Oh, that's right. That
She
was
got
like on season 1. That was
one,
season
I
1,
think.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
season 1. She
Yeah.
got
So
addicted.
she definitely
to
has she definitely has a good
she
drawer.
definitely
I
has a
totally
goody
forgot
drawer.
about that. She definitely has a goody drawer.
Dirty
This lying
liar.
ass bitch.
What
Lying
a
ass.
dirty liar you are, Charlotte.
You dirty liar.
I don't know why I like saying it with like a vaguely Irish accent. It always makes me laugh. But anywho,
you got Ireland behind you. You can do it. It's all good.
It's legal.
It's legal. It's legal. That's fire.
But so Magda finds it and then replaces it with a Virgin Mary statue, which is even funnier.
First of all, that's hilarious. But also, again, mad disrespectful.
Yeah.
Like, you can't come in just pushing your views on, like, and that's why I like. I love that when when she was talking about them, like when Miranda discovers that she discovered it, and then she's like walks away, and she's like, "God bless her." She comes back, she's like, "I don't need God to bless me. I love my life." Like, fuck off, bitch.
and
I love that.
Miranda holding up that statue is like that is an image that's used a lot from the show. Like,
oh really?
It's just really because this Miranda storyline is one of the more like popular, funny ones. I think because it resonates with so many women as like, you know, because there's the whole mother tension, and when Miranda calls her out, she's like, I don't need a second mom. You know, I already have a mom, and that relationship's complicated enough. I don't need you. I will find someone who can, you know, clean my house without judgment. Right. It's not going to be you. And Magda, to her credit, artfully erased the condoms on a beautiful platter in the goodie drawer as to say, I got you.
Yeah, like show respect, absolutely. And that, but you know what though, too, that's the thing too. Like, you do have to establish those boundaries in a relationship, work or romance or friendship. Like, she needed to, because here's the thing, low key, when Magda was coming in, like moving things around, you know, she was being a little, you know, passive aggressive. It's like, oh, I usually have things here or that. And that didn't really set in her mind. And
Magda just was like, don't care.
All right, don't care.
I reorganized.
Yeah, but the second she was like, look, this is how it's going to be. If you don't like it, find another place of business.
Yeah.
And then now we squared, because she was crossing some boundaries right out. And that's the thing too. It's like, who does that? Like, who does that?
People weigh in on shit where they just, you know, shouldn't.
That's insane. Like, that lady was completely disrespectful. Just like, no, like,
because
where are you from?
Because she also asked, you know, Miranda about getting married, and she's like, well, I have a boyfriend. I don't know if he's the one I'm going to marry, but you know, basically still mind your business. But like, that's why this resonates, because it's that sort of external pressure of like, oh, she's officially with Steve. We've locked that down now finally. You know, are you going to get, the second she's with someone, basically people are like, you're going to get married. It's like, they barely locked it down and they fucked it up the first time. So like, let's not rush to any conclusions.
And that like, actually too, the whole experience between Magda and Miranda was kind of like the whole catalyst of this whole episode. Because that was like, you know, it's like women making other women feel bad.
Right. Yeah.
And that's exactly what she was doing. It was like an internal mistake. It was basically, she was kind of like a more of a Charlotte than Charlotte usually is, like that internal misogynist. Yeah. It's like women should bake pies, a woman shouldn't masturbate. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's like, because he's like, oh, if a man sees that in your drawer, he's gonna think that you don't need him. It's like, that's what the vibrator is for, when a man's not around or when he can't get the job done.
Yeah.
It is what it is, Magda. Like, take it easy. But that was the whole thing. She's like judging. She's like, oh, all women want to get married. Everybody wants to get married.
Right.
Not true.
Not true. No,
totally not true.
Women don't.
There's a ton of women who don't ever want to get married, and they truly mean it. They're not just saying it because like they found the right person and all that shit. Like, no, because like that's what a lot of people say, especially to women. It's like, oh, you don't want to get married because you just haven't found the right guy, or maybe I just don't want to fucking do it.
And then it's always the next step of, oh, now that you're married, you got to have kids. Don't you want to have kids? Well, you're right. And even if you say you don't, but you're going to change your mind. You know, you're going to run out of time and be sad you missed it. Right. And that's not true either. There are some women who genuinely
Don't
don't
want
want
that.
kids, and that's
Yes.
fine. I saw something funny where it was like someone was making a little TikTok about like any, if you're a certain age, like late 20s to mid 30s, and you're at any family gathering, someone hands you a baby and you're holding it, suddenly everyone's like, oh, you're a natural, when are you gonna want some of your own? Da, 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 da.
I know.
And
I
it's
bet
like,
it happens.
I know.
Why people gotta be people sometimes, bro?
I'm good with babies, but actually
Sure.
not little tiny babies. I get very stressed out about holding them. I like until they can hold their little heads up.
Yeah.
And their necks are working right.
Right.
I get very stressed out.
I'm great with kids, and people do that shit to me.
Yeah,
it happens to men too. Like if I'm at like a family reunion or like at a kid's birthday party, whatever, I like playing with the kids, having a good time. They're like, oh my god, you're such a natural. You'd probably be a great dad. Get out of my face.
Yeah.
He's like the reason. And here's the thing. What you don't understand is the reason why I can be nice to these kids because they don't live with me. I can send them back home. That's why I can work with them well and have a good time with them. Because if they were to come home with me, ain't no way. You ever seen parents really play with their kids? Not really. They usually just take them to like a kid's birthday party and let them frolic while they go do adult shit because they need a fucking break. So chill, fam. Cool.
No, it's like I'm somewhere in between. I'm like, I think I want marriage. I think I want kids, but I don't know. I haven't met like the person, but it doesn't mean that would seal the deal either if I met like the person to do either thing, and that's also a perfect
that's not, and it's not
too.
It's not consuming your life like Charlotte's life. Like Charlotte's life is consumed with marriage. Like there's nothing that's like her main desire. She don't care.
She has like a homeland level corkboard probably we don't see of like how to find a guy and get married.
Absolutely.
Well, and there are people who like say they've planned their weddings since like childhood. I don't think I've ever met anyone who's done that, and I certainly haven't. I don't know. Hey, buddy.
Hey, man, he's reversed.
Another drive-by.
Well, he's consistent. He gave us a left and a right.
But yeah, the whole like, because then I do like think about like, oh, how would a wedding work for me like to begin with, and I'm like, I don't know. I just want to get married at the Magic Castle, but that seems really expensive.
It probably is. I bet it's gonna cost you. It's gonna cost you pretty good penny, and you probably got to like reserve that shit now. Like, you know what I mean? Like you guys think I'd be like, 3 years from now I might be married, so let's just get a spot now.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Or find me a rich dude.
Or maybe somebody that can just bribe them and just pay them enough money. Yeah, find you a something the 14th or something. Whatever.
It is actually I think not. At the end of the day, not really a very great wedding venue because there are too many little small rooms. Yeah. And there's only like the main stage area. And I did the math. If I invite like all my friends and family, and including kids, because I personally, I know a lot of people are like, I don't want a kid wedding. I don't want kids at the wedding, which I think is kind of weird because part of weddings to me are like your families melding together. So like families include kids, but like I get it. If you want an adult ceremony, whatever, do what you want. None of my business.
I see both sides.
I see both sides.
I see both sides. Honestly,
but so if I do it where I literally invite like all the children as well as the adults and everything like that, it's like 50 fucking people.
That's great. That's how honestly.
But then, but that's just my side. I don't know what the guys bringing to the table.
But it should. I don't think a wedding should be bigger than 50 to 100 people. Like anything over that, you're doing too much. Like you can't invite all the family. Sorry, like especially now that we have like Zoom and fucking Skype and shit like that. If they, you know what I'm saying, like you don't need everybody there at the wedding. Put that shit on a fucking screen somewhere. Let them watch it from their homes and. Mazel tov. And
that number includes like the tightest of tight friends from like childhood or like out here or whatever that I've really bonded with. So it's not like I have a stupid large Irish Catholic family and all these cousins. I gotta invite them and all their damn kids.
Yeah. That's what I told my mom. I was like, if I ever get married, you're not gonna guilt me into inviting the entire family. I'm gonna invite like you guys, like grandparents if they were still alive and shit like that. Like all like it's gonna be a very tight group. Like
my mom actually requested that I not invite some of her family.
Hey, that's real family right there. That's real. She
did the same to my brother. She was like, I don't want you to invite.
That's real. That's exactly that's what I'm saying.
Most of her family, to be frank.
It should be a tight.
Yep.
Cool. So that's everything. Yes. tell the people where they can find us.
They can find us most easily if you go to Instagram and you go to at Show Me What Podcast. And that will take you to all the other places to find us, like Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, which we got to call out YouTube real quick and say thank you to everybody on YouTube. We cracked over 100 views on our last episode, and it is not a huge number in the grand scheme of things, but it is the most we've had. It's a milestone. It's a milestone. I'll take it. I don't care. Thank you to everybody.
That's like double of what our first episode got like 45 or 50, and we've already doubled that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like, even if you only watch 5 minutes, thank you for doing that. I don't care. Like,
and it's funny to me that it's a podcast, but you guys like the video. Do you like how animated we are? Is that what it is?
I mean, it is more entertaining to watch us than just to hear our voices. I totally get that.
And you can see the cat sometimes. He does drive-bys. That's always cute when you see him. And then you can... So thank y'all so much. Show Me What I've Been Missing is the full name on YouTube as well.
Yes.
So what do you call it? And then you can find me on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok, as I've mentioned a million times. I fucking love TikTok. At Elizabeth Movies. Chris, where can they find you?
You can find me on everything, IG, Instagram. I just said IG, that's what Instagram is. Twitter. Basically all the places. Just at Mack Diddy Combs. That is my handle on all those things. So you can find me there. Also make sure you go to Arlo Australia on Instagram, ARLO _ Australia. Get yourself some candles, some reed diffusers. She got some seasonal fall smells that are amazing. Trust me, my house smells so good right now. Get into it right now because she's only making these scents for fall. Fall's done. No more of that. So get them right now. They burn well. It's lead-free wicks, soy wax, and it's all ethically sourced from Australia. So all the oils and scents come straight from the source of Australia. So you're not getting no bullshit. It is real scents.
And like I say every time, but I'm not lying. It smells better than Bath and Body Works.
Absolutely.
It's real stuff. It's not all the chemical.
Yes. So make sure you go to ARLO Australia on Instagram or on Etsy and use our promo code Show Me Miss, and you'll get 10% off all your purchases. So make sure you do that. Get those fall candles because they are fire. And that's it. That's all we got for you guys today. Thank you for tuning in. Again, thank you for watching our show. Thank you for bringing us to 100. Next time, bring us to 1,000, and we'll love you even more. Thank you. Have a good day.
Go have fun with your goody drawer.